Hi and welcome to Pilates with the Health Lab. Today for our 20 minutes full body class, we will start with some lateral breathing. So we put our hands on the lower ribs, on the outside of our lower ribs. And as we inhale, we can feel them expand to the side. And as we exhale, how they decrease in size. So we inhale through our nose and we exhale through our mouth, slowly and controlled. Good, we do a few more. Inhale and we exhale. Good. For the next exercise, we're gonna go down to our back with our knees bent. We're gonna find the right position for our core when the core is activated. So in our neutral position where we breathe in, we're gonna have an arched back. And as we exhale, we're gonna find connection between our back and the mat. We're gonna tilt our pelvis and put our belly button towards our spine. So we're gonna go a bit between these two positions to find where we find the core activated. So I want you to find a position in between your fully arch and your complete connection between the back and the mat. Good. For our next exercise, we're going up with our arms towards the ceiling, thumbs going back over our head, and we're gonna do circles over the floor. Good, we do one more on this side. For the next one, we're gonna change directions. We're gonna take our pinkies and let them go down towards our toes, and we circle the arms around the floor as we come back up. Good, we do one more. Don't forget to breathe. Good, and we put the arms on the side. Good, we're gonna do leg circles, so we stay on the floor. One leg is out and the other one is bent or straight, and we're gonna circle the leg over our midline, and we're gonna do 3 circles each in each direction in each leg. And what's important here is that the pelvis stays still and that we cross our midline with our leg. So whenever you're ready, you change the side. So you do 3 circles in each direction and on each leg. Good, we're soon done with our warm-up. And we're soon gonna go into our core exercises. We do a few more, good. So we're gonna stay on our back. We're gonna have our knees bent, and we will put the arms along the side of our body, and we're gonna come into a glute bridge. So I want you to find the right position for your core. So you tilt the pelvis, you put your belly button towards your spine, and we slowly lift our pelvis off the floor, slowly and controlled, and we go down. So we lift, we squeeze our glutes, we press up, we press the hips towards the ceiling, and we go down. If you want to, when your hips are lifted towards the ceiling, you can as well add in a leg lift on each leg before you go down. Good, so you don't forget to breathe. You have an activated core, your pelvis stays still, and you lift your hips towards the ceiling slowly and controlled. Good. We do one more. Your legs stays still as well whenever they're on the floor. Good. And we're gonna come into our second core exercise. So we're gonna stay with the back on our floor, and we're gonna put the arms under our butt if we want to. We come up with straight legs towards the ceiling, and they're gonna fall back down to 45 degrees, as straight as possible. It's okay to have them a bit bent if you want to. And I want you to, through the entire exercise, keep your core activated. So don't go too far down low with your legs if you feel like you cannot control the movement. So rather stay a bit higher with your legs and always keep your core engaged. And how we do that is that we have our pelvis tilted and our belly button towards our spine. Good, and don't forget to breathe. So we inhale through our nose and we exhale through our mouth. Good. Inhale and we exhale, and we're soon done with this exercise. I know it's heavy and we're done. Good. We're gonna come into the third core exercise. So we're gonna do some toe taps. So we're gonna stay with the back on the floor, arms or hands under our butt if we want to. The legs come up to a tabletop position, and we're gonna dip our toes into the floor. You can either go with both legs at the same time, or you can do one leg at a time. And if you do one leg at a time, you do first the left leg and then the right leg. So you alternate between the legs. If you go with both legs at the same time, make sure that you have your toes pointing together so they are touching each other. And for the next step, we're gonna add in heel taps as well. So we're gonna put our toes, the heels, toes, and then come back up. So we go down, toes, heels, toes, come back up to tabletop position. We do a few more. This you can do if you do with both one leg or both legs. And even here, don't forget to breathe. We have our engaged core, our tilted pelvis, belly button towards our spine. We're gonna do a few more here before we move on to the next exercise. So we do a few more. Good. And we're gonna hug our knees and just squeeze them and breathe for a while. Inhale and exhale before we come up sitting on our butt. So we're gonna come into the next exercise in a minute. So take a sip of water if you feel like it, or fix your ponytail as I'm doing. For the next exercise, we're gonna come up to our butt. So we're gonna sit far back on our butts. We're gonna have our knees bent, and we're gonna have a C curve in our back. If you want, you have your hands behind your thighs or straight as I have in the video. And we're gonna roll our back as far back as we possibly can and let our core pull us back up with a curved back all the way. So we're gonna keep the curve in our back through the entire exercise, but we're gonna roll back slowly and controlled, as well as come back up slowly and controlled. So don't forget to breathe. So we inhale through our nose, and as we come back up, we exhale through our mouth. Good, we do a few more. It looks easy, but it's heavy. I know it feels, you can really feel your core working here. Good, and we're done. Good job. So we're gonna go into a similar exercise where we will be doing roll like a little ball. This is one of my favorite exercises, and what's important in this one is that we sit the same way. So we're gonna sit far back on our butt. We're gonna have a curve in our back through the entire exercise. Our hands gonna be on our legs, and we're gonna slowly and controlled roll back to our back and come back up, and try to not put our feet back onto the mat, which is more difficult than you might think. But once you get the technique, it's a very fun exercise. So we roll back, we come back up. Good. I hope you like that one. I think it's very fun once you have the right technique. So for our next exercise, we're gonna let our legs and glutes work a bit. We're gonna come down to our side. We're back across the back side of the mat, and our legs gonna be diagonally straight forward. We're gonna have the lower arm straight out and our head rested on our arm. And from here we're gonna do rainbow exercise with our upper legs. We're gonna be crossing the upper leg in front of the lower one and then come back and put the heel down to the mat on both sides. So we lift the leg and we put the heel on in front of the other leg and back of the other leg. So we're gonna keep the core engaged through the entire exercise. And this is also an exercise that looks easier than it is, but you can really feel those glutes burning, which is the feeling that we are looking for, of course. So we do a few more here. If you think it's difficult to point with your heels, it's okay to use your toes or to have the foot flat. Good. We're gonna continue to work our glutes and our legs. So we're gonna come up to our, well, in this case, left knee and right down to our left elbow, and the elbow will be straight under our left shoulder and the left knee under our hip. And with the right leg, we're gonna go do circles in front, so half circles. So we're gonna do a similar exercise as the first one. We're gonna do the half or the rainbow as it is called. So as you can see in the video, I do a half circle and I'm lifting the leg and I'm pulling it forward. And as I'm pulling it backward, I am lifting it as well. And here you can also really feel the burn in your glutes, in the tiny muscles in the glutes. And don't forget to breathe and keep still with the rest of the body. It's only the leg that's lifting here. We're gonna do a few more before we move on to the next exercise. Good job. So we're gonna be doing the exact same thing, but on the other side. So we're gonna lie down on our side with our back against the back side of the mat, and our legs are gonna be straight diagonally front. We have our lower legs straight, our head is resting on that arm, and the front arm will be support. We're gonna continue with the, as I call it, rainbow, or it's also called, this is a version of the hot potato, but we're gonna do a version of it. So lift your leg, your upper leg, over the lower leg, and if you can, you're gonna put your heel onto the mat, both in front of the lower leg and back of the lower leg. If you prefer, you can also use to dip your toes or to keep your foot flat through the entire exercise. So even here, I want you to keep your core engaged and just let the leg move. The rest of the body is gonna stay still. So the pelvis stays still. It's just the leg lifting and moving in front and back. Okay, good job. So we're gonna come into our next exercise where we come up to the right knee with our right elbow below our right shoulder. So we keep a straight line from the shoulder to the elbow and from the knees to the hip. The upper legs, and now it is the left leg that's going out. So we're gonna work the left leg and we put it straight out, and we're gonna continue with the rainbow. So we're gonna lift the leg and do a half circle back. So as you can see in the video, I am lifting the leg and pulling it back, lifting the leg and pulling it forward. So in this movement, we're also training our hip motions. So it's a very good exercise to train your range of motion within your hips. So we keep still in the rest of the body, and it's just the legs that is moving. Sorry, it's just one of the legs that's moving front and back at the same time as we're lifting it. And don't forget to breathe. So inhale and we exhale, and we're focused on what we're doing. The leg is what's working here in this exercise, and the glutes, of course. We can feel the burn in the glutes. Good job. We do just a few more before we're going into the next exercise. And I know it's burning, but we're done. Good job. For the next exercise, we will be doing a snake prep, and this exercise can be a bit tricky, so if you feel like you don't want to do this one, you can skip this exercise. But we're gonna come down to sit on one side of our hip. The lower leg we're gonna have against the mat, and the upper leg we're gonna bend the knees. And the lower leg, in the foot on the lower leg, I want you to attach this one to the foot of the upper leg, and we're gonna have our arms underneath our shoulders. We're gonna come up to a downward facing dog, and from here we're gonna bend, so we bend the back and we push our chest up towards the ceiling. So we're looking down in the mat in the downward facing dog, and as we press our chest upwards, we're gonna look up against the ceiling. Good, so we do slow and controlled in this one. One foot on top of the other, and when you're ready you can change the foot so the other foot is on top of the other, and we continue to do downward facing dog, and we come into the snake prep. Good, so we do slowly and controlled. We look down and we come back up, and don't forget to breathe. And through the entire exercise, I want you to keep your core engaged. So we always have our core engaged through the entire class. Good job. We do a few more. And then we have one more exercise in this class, so you're soon done with this class. Good job. We come down, we go back in a child's pose. Take a few deep breaths here. We inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth. Good job. We're soon ready with this class. So for the last exercise, we're gonna come up into a plank position. So I want you to come down to your elbows and have your elbows straight underneath your shoulders. And you either come back to your toes or your feet, or you can do the plank position on your knees. And I want you to have your core engaged and a straight line in your spine. And from here, I just want you to stand and breathe a few seconds. And if you want to, you can add on. So we're gonna shift our weight forward and backward. So we're gonna be pulling in front and coming back. So if you want to do this, you can do this, or you stay still through the entire exercise and just inhale and exhale, and we're done. Good job. Come back into your child pose. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And when you're ready, come back up to seated position and give yourself an applause for doing an amazing job in this class. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.